Okay, get yourself ready for your evening practice. Have a blanket on top of your usual mat just to give yourself the extra warmth and comfort. So we try and recreate the sensation of bed. Have a bolster underneath your knees, have a couple of blocks for underneath your feet. And as usual, we'll begin with our basic relaxation pose. So make sure that your blanket is evenly folded for your head. Make sure that you're going to be warm. It's been quite cold here today, so I'm going to use white covers. The bolster underneath your knees, the blocks underneath the feet, just really supporting the legs. And then guide yourself down onto the floor. Let your head rest into the folded blanket and just spend a few moments just observing how the body connects to the ground, observing the support of the ground, letting the muscles completely relax. Letting go of the shoulder muscles. Letting go of the shoulder muscles so that the arms can just relax completely into the ground. Soften the jaw and the tongue and the throat. Consciously unhook the muscles of the arms and the legs so that the body completely rests into the ground. Releasing into the ground. Relaxing the shoulders and the elbows and the wrists. Draw your attention into the soles of the feet. Draw your attention into the soles of your feet. And then allow the soles of the feet to relax. Relaxing the soles of the feet, letting the muscles of the soles of the feet completely release. And then drawing your attention to the tops of the feet. And consciously relax the tops of the feet. And then consciously relax the tops of the feet. Draw your attention into your shins. Relax the tops of the feet and draw your attention into the fronts of the shins. Draw your attention into the fronts of the shins until they tingle with consciousness. Take a deep inhalation, and with the exhalation allow the shins to completely relax. Relax the fronts of the shins into the backs of the shins and draw your attention into the kneecaps. Relax the fronts of the shins into the backs of the shins, backs of the calf muscles. Relax your kneecaps and draw your attention into the thighs. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, using the out breath to relax the thigh muscles. Relax the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Allow the body to completely surrender into the floor. Just relaxing the thighs with the exhalation, just letting the legs completely relax. Draw your attention with the following in-breath into the abdomen. Draw your attention into the hips and the abdominal region, just continually allowing the skin of the hips to become conscious and the pose to become inactive. Draw your attention into the pelvis and completely allow the pelvis to melt, just to relax into the bones. Draw your attention into the chest cavity. Feel how the air expands the chest. Listen to the sound of your breath as it enters and as it exits. Draw your attention into the chest and into the shoulders. Soften the shoulders, soften the arms, feel that you completely release on the floor to bring that sense of energetic lightness. Feel the skin of the shoulders stretching down into the arms, into the elbows, into the wrists, into the palms, and then completely let go. Draw your focus into the tips of the toes, the tips of the fingers. Just relaxing the shoulders and the forearms, the biceps, the triceps. Relaxing the elbow joint and the forearms on the floor. Just letting the fingers into a natural curl. Draw that release down into the soles of the feet, down into the palms of the hands. Allowing the body to just completely flop into the floor. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to inflate the physical body. Feeling like there's nothing but air inside the chest. Neck to soften, allowing the skin around the face to soften, softening the skin over the skull. Feel that the skin over the skull loosens. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to draw your energy down into the toes and into the fingers and up into the top of the head. When you're ready to disturb yourself, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, have the feet on the bolster, the knees together. And then draw your knees in towards your chest, have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine, and then roll over onto your right side, stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, just come up into the seated position, just come into cross legs, just observe how your energy feels different. Okay, we're going to do our side lying stretch. It's always a good one just to loosen out tension in the shoulders. So get a block for your head, have a bolster long ways like this, and then put a blanket on top of the block, and that's going to go for your head. And then we're just going to sit on one hip, bending the knees like this, and just covering yourself up for warmth, and then stretch yourself along the bolster. I want you to have the shoulder on the floor. Have the shoulder on the floor and rest your head down on the block. So just adjust everything until all of those things happen. So the bolster is underneath the armpit chest, the shoulder is down, the elbow of the arm that's on the floor is just in a little right angle, palm facing the ceiling. And then just stretch the top arm over your ear. And then release. If there's stiffness in your shoulders, then you can put a block underneath the top hand. Otherwise, just see if you can stay and maintain. So as you know, as we progress into the sequence, I'll speak less and less as we aim to drive the focus into relaxation. So I'll speak less and less so that you can just relax without having to listen. Just try and breathe evenly into both lungs, even though one side will feel restricted by the bolster. Still aim to breathe evenly into both lungs, evenly out of both lungs. Okay, bring the top arm back onto the hip. Just gently push the bottom arm down into the floor, and then just bring yourself up into cross legs or any comfortable seated position. Just observe your energy, how it has changed. And then just sit yourself on the other hip, so the other side this time. Again, stretch yourself out along the bolster. Have the shoulder on the floor, have the elbow in a little right angle, that arm along the floor. Have your head resting on the bolster. And on the block, sorry, head resting on the block with the blanket on top of it. And then stretch the top arm over your ear. Again, just giving yourself whatever you need to support the pose if it's in any way uncomfortable. Okay, bring the top arm back just to sit on the hip. Push the bottom elbow into the floor and then just very gently push yourself up into seated position, just observing how your energy has changed. Just listening to the breath. Okay, we're going to do a little spinal twist. So bring your bolster long ways like this. And you sit again on kind of the one hip closest to the bolster. The legs are bent just like this. And then you're going to turn towards the bolster, lengthening out the chest as you go. And then you guide yourself along the bolster and then let your elbows rest on the floor either side of the body. The aim here isn't to support your body weight with your arms. Have your elbows wide enough apart so that you can just flop over the bolster. If one bolster doesn't feel right, you can put a folded blanket on top. But just allow the body to just rest into a little spinal twist. So just adjust until you feel really comfortable and then release. So you just rest your head on its side with your chin in the same direction as your bent knees. Push your elbows push your hands into the floor underneath your shoulders, and then push yourself up into cross legs. Again, just observing how your energy has changed. And then just do the other side. So sitting with the other hip close to the bolster, knees bent, and then lift the chest. Turn to face the bolster, lengthen the spine along, lengthen the chest along the bolster, and then rest your arms, your elbows out to the side. Again, not supporting your weight with your elbows, just letting the elbows be wide apart so that you just drape over the bolster. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself back up into a seated position, and then just observing your energy. And then move the bolster from behind you, and then get the bolster from underneath your knees. Have the bolster just underneath your knees, have the folded blanket to support your head, and then we'll go back into our restorative relaxation pose, just allowing the body just to completely let go, to sink into the ground. Focus on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. Filling your lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Let the muscles of the arms and the legs unhook from the bones. Allow the body to become heavy on the floor. And then observe that feeling of irrepressible, energetic lightness that radiates from the bones like it's illuminating light from the bones and lighting up the muscles. Warm glow radiating from the bones and into the muscles, and then radiating into the organs. That light illuminating into the physical body, radiating from the bones and into the muscles, lighting up the muscles, lighting up the organs. Listening to the sound of the breath, observing a sensation of energetic lightness radiating from the bones. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness down into the toes, into the fingertips, and all the way up into the top of the head. And then when you're ready to disturb yourself, gently wriggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bringing yourself back into this pose of Shavasana, and then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, have the feet apart, the knees together, just letting the back rest into the floor. And then very gently roll onto your right side, just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs. Your hands in Namaste, a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice. That good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the relaxation poses bring to the body and to the mind. Draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And when you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you have lifted your energy and just brought some good positive lightness into your evening. So thank you very much for joining me.